Why is it important to learn about money? In this video, I'm going to talk about the resources that you need. I'm going to give you some activities to do right away. So get a pen and paper, and I'm going to give you some free tickets at the end of my video, so stay all the way to the end. So today I'm going to talk about specific things. Number one, I'm going to talk about the books that I've read. And every mentor and multimillionaire that I know reads and just consumes these books. Mine are one of them. Number two, I'm going to talk about an event that you need to be at every 3 weeks. And until you can make money like clockwork, you are invited to be with me every 3 weeks making money. Stay to the end and I'm going to give you a ticket. Number three, we're going to talk about mentoring and coaching. Everyone says they're a mentor. Everyone says they're a coach. How does that really work? You better pick the right lane. And last but not least, we're going to talk about the worst mistake people learn about money is how to use debit and how to use credit properly to actually win. Ready? So get a pen and paper. It's another big day. So let's start. What books did you read? Well, at 17 years old was my first aha moment. I was at an event, don't remember how I got there, but Dennis Waitley was there. He gave me the book Think and Grow Rich. You know, when the author from the stage says, hey, everybody run to the stage. Well, I was one of those. I ran to the stage, got Think and Grow Rich. Having come a farm girl from Nebraska, you have to imagine I consumed myself, wasn't even listening to the rest of the presentation, don't even know who else spoke, consumed myself in this Think and Grow Rich book. And it really got me thinking why? Well, first of all, thank God there's people that think like this. And I started studying those people, right? From the Carnegie family to the Rockefeller family. That leads you very quickly over to a Creature from Jekyll Island. That leads you into Bob Proctor's work, Tony Robbins' work, Robert Kiyosaki's work, Keith Cunningham's work, the greats, Zig Ziglar, Brian Tracy. The reason I mention all those names is that's the lane, right? The more recent would be like a Grant Cardone definitely speaks in this lane. Gary Vee speaks in this lane. Who does not speak in this lane is Dave Ramsey. You have got to stop. Just stop. Susie Orman, David Bach, and even more importantly, every financial institute you walk in. Every financial institute you walk in is really, really old stock and block. And what they're teaching you is what I call employee life. How to get good grades, which I believe in, right? And go to school, get a good job. Well, how about go to school and maybe become an entrepreneur? You're never given that choice. And then put your money in 401k, park your money in the financial planner, pray to God the whole thing's going to work out. Unfortunately, that pattern still drives a lot of the world. And I'm not talking America, the world. That's not what happens. When I read Think and Grow Rich, I'm like, oh my gosh, everybody gets an entrepreneurial venture. So what did I do? I went out 17 years old. I started a personal training business. Did I know what I was doing? No. I walked into a gym. So I looked at somebody following somebody around. I said, what are they doing? He said, that's called personal training. This was in 1983, by the way. And I said, well, how much do they make? Because I had to go create extra money. I would, to get my way through school. And he said, well, they make about $40 an hour. I said, oh, I'm a personal trainer today. That's how fast you can start an entrepreneurial venture. And I was an athlete, so I was already working out, and I just gathered 16 people immediately, $40 an hour, 3 times a week. It doesn't take a lot to see that monetization. Then I got really good at it. I got certified in aerobics, didn't know anything about that either, just jumped into a class, and now it says certified. And then I started getting 16 other gigs. My point is I learned leverage right away. So I learned the value of money. I learned it was completely different. Now, even though I grew up with farm parents, right, on a farm family, which is an entrepreneurial venture, most farmers don't live and breathe and teach like that. I never heard the word assets and liabilities until I was in college getting a finance degree. I know, I got the same thing you got, in the comments, like we talked about. Who taught you about money? How'd you learn about it? Mostly mom and dad, religious institutes, or friends and family, or I say side by side. You look over here and say, what are they doing? Or you look over here and go, what are they doing? And you're not looking up here to a mentor or coach saying, what do I need to do so I can get there faster and get rich, right? And now some of you out there say, and you're complaining all over my TikTok channel and some other channels, you're saying, oh, but being rich isn't the only thing in life. Yeah, I know, but being broke sucks. Don't tell me that you would like to not do more things with your family, yourself, your kids. You can make as much money as you want. You just have to let me teach you about it. So there's the book category. The book I'm going to put, 2 that I'm going to put are annual reads, and you need to start reading them around Thanksgiving and read them through the end of the year. You got to read Think and Grow Rich. It's been an annual read of mine. And then honestly, you got to read my Millionaire Maker, because you're going to change every year. You're going to modify your sequence in your plan. So every year you want to find who you are now. And then once you become a sustainable billionaire, then you can probably lay that one down, pick up my Wealth Cycle book, and just keep studying investing. So those are what I do on a regular basis. All right, so once you have books in hand, audio, ebook, hardback, however you want to do it, then number 2, you got to start attending events. And here's what I'm going to tell most of you. Repetition is critical. When I first started working with the Kiyosaki Group, 1996, I don't know how many times I heard him say the same thing over and over and over and over and over. Same thing when I started working with Bob Proctor or Dan Kennedy. Over and over. Why? Repetition is where your memory all comes in. You've got to remember this stuff. Just hearing it for the first time and agreeing to it is not learning. That's just a yes or no. You need to integrate it, which means you need to be able to regurgitate it out of your mouth. So one question I always ask is, what are you learning? And if you can't speak what you're learning, you're not there yet. You have to hear it over and over and over. To that point, I put on a workshop. It's a Millionaire Intensive and Marketplace. It's every 3 weeks. You need to be there every 3 weeks, just like you're here on YouTube 5 days a week, my podcast 1 day a week. Now, every 3 weeks, you can meet people, bring your stuff, your products, your services, and sell. Like, I have set such a system up for you to make money. You have to be completely asleep to not make money within every 3 weeks in my system. So you need to be at my Meetup and Marketplace. Then you do need to go take the techniques I'm going to teach you about how to network online inside Zooms. And I want you at a lot of other events, and I want you out on social channels, but I want you gathering names, phone numbers, emails. I want you putting them in a database. Now that's a different conversation. If you're curious, go to my search bar and just search for databases, the power of databases, lead gen, how do I make money, all those things. And if something is not on my channel, put it in the chat. You put it down in the comments, and my team's out every day, and we're going to come back and we'll be answering them on a regular basis. So you got to be at events. You got to be networking. You got to be talking to people and in social channels. You don't stay in social channels. You move them to your database. Now, number 3, who is your mentor? Well, first of all, let's go back to that pick a path and pick a lane. See, there's 2 very different conversations about money going on. There's the old traditional financial conversation, which is Ramsey, Orman, Bach, all those guys. And then there's the how to become a millionaire and get rich, right? That's Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which is where I got taught. That's Bob Proctor. That's me. So you are going to be fat or skinny, right? You got to pick a path. You cannot do both. So pick a path and never go back. And I think a lot of you make the mistake because you're like, oh, but I should get out of debt. And then you run back over and listen to Dave Ramsey's stuff. And then you run back over here, but I want to get rich. They don't go together. Because guess what? Rich people have a lot of debt. I have millions of dollars of debt, millions of dollars of good debt against millions of dollars of good assets. So we're going to teach you debt in a little bit in the video. But right now I want you thinking, pick a path, pick a lane, and don't vary. So the reason I did integrated wealth systems the way that I did it is because I have a whole team, 28 financial experts. Everything you need is sitting around my kitchen table. Anything from starting your corporate credit, your own corporate structure, trust, your own credit cleanup. Say you totally blew it, you got a horrible credit score, you got to fix that. How to build a business plan, how to do real estate, how to do cannabis, how to do NFTs, you name it, I got them. I got the experts in the house, which is why we built it this way. So you can have one conversation. What do you need to do? You need to learn money. You need to decide that financial literacy is really important. Right now, on a little piece of paper, if you pause for a minute and you wrote down all the other things that you have paid for, university, extra schooling, continuing ed classes. How about that vehicle in your parking lot? I bet that vehicle is worth way more than the amount of money you've spent on your financial literacy, which is odd. Think about how many things you buy or interact with every day. I'm going to say it's 10 to 20, meaning it might be on auto pay, so you might not know it. But I would bet today you either got coffee or lunch, or you're going to go get a drink later. Like there's a food consumption, there's gas, you have electricity, you've got your phone, you've got some sort of a device that you're watching me from. There's money always flowing and being spent. It's being made or it's being spent. And most of you are just unconscious, right? You have not said, I'm going to sit down and learn financial literacy. I'm going to learn money. And I'm going to be your teacher. I'm going to be here 5 days a week. So I need you to subscribe right now. Subscribe to my channel, click the notification. And I want you to share this with 10 friends. 10. And then get a little mastermind group together. And maybe you start your morning and say, everybody's going to watch Loral in the morning. We're going to watch your 10 to 12 minutes on YouTube. Then we're all going to jump on a phone call and we're going to talk about what we learned. That's the integration. It's got to come out of your mouth to say, this is what I learned. This is what I'll do. Now I know you're starting to get it. If you just say, dang, that was a great video. Didn't Loral look great? Or didn't she look like crap? Or whatever you want to, like, that's not the conversation. What did you learn about money? What are you going to do about money? I need it out of your mouth. I want to be your mentor. I expect to be your mentor. If you want to get rich, I'm your girl. So let's keep jamming. You're going to read the right books. You're going to be in the right communities. You're going to go to the right events. You're going to be only listening to people who have a bigger, really balance sheet than you have and have actually been there and done it. I have sustainably been a millionaire since 1999. I'm in 8 industries right now. I have 2 more on the horizon, which is cryptocurrency and cannabis. I'm not there yet in those 2. And then I've got 10 industries of a millionaire. And then inside of there's millions. So you can try to guess my net worth. Good luck. So again, the last thing before I leave, subscribe, and share. The last and biggest thing, best lesson I ever learned about money is how to use debt, how to use good debt. I became a multi-millionaire. I was a millionaire using good debt, but I'm talking when I really learned that debt is just the cost of money. I can go get debt for 2%, 3%, 4%, pretty cheap. I can get it to work 15, 20, 40, 100%. I've done 100% deals. Boy, I'm going to use somebody else's cheap money. I'm going to leverage to a good asset. I'm going to arbitrage, which means take all the profit in the middle, pay back the debt, move on. And you have got to get your head straight about debt. You have been so misled by Susie Orman and Ramsey. Live debt free. Broke people live debt free. Rich people carry debt. It is the biggest lesson. I cannot wait to teach you. Now let's talk about debit and credit cards. It's just a thing that I got to teach you because that's also a big lesson. I'm headed out to some of the universities to teach this spring, and it'll be one of the first things I teach. And it's the first question. How many of you use a debit card? How many of you use a credit card? And I can tell you, stop using your debit card. All that is taking money directly out of your bank account. We'll help you fix your credit. Assuming it's fixed, I want you using your credit cards, and I want a variety of credit cards. I want 4, 5, 6 credit cards. I wanted them rotated. I want them used on a regular basis. Pay them off every month. You have points, you have credit, you use somebody's money for 30 days, and guess what? Your credit score skyrockets when I teach you how to do that right. So again, go up to my search bar, search for how do I increase my credit, how do I do better in my credit, all those kinds of things. You're going to find a lot of videos that I already have on my YouTube channel. Check it out. It's going to be phenomenal. So here's what I want you to do right now. I want you to go take my financial personality quiz. I want to know who you are. You're going to end up in one of 4 categories. And once you have that, then we're going to send you an application. You're going to talk to one of my team members. You're going to go through a very private one-on-one to see where you are and what do you really want. And if you really want to learn money, I'm your girl, and we're going to get you hooked up right into that event. So with the application will become 2 tickets to that Millionaire Intensive and Marketplace. And then I'm going to send you out a link. I have a brand new book coming out, How I Made My Kids Millionaires, and you must get it. So you're going to click on the link and buy it. $1,500 of bonuses come with that. Talk tomorrow.